What's up? What's good? Matt Clark here at the new Matt Clark. How are each and every one of you doing on this amazing Sunday? I'm doing great. My girl's doing great. My family's doing great. I hope each and every one of you are doing great, even though we're living through crazy, chaotic times. If you could please hit that like button, if you could please hit that subscribe button and that bell notification button to get all my videos when they're new. If you could share with somebody on social media, help spread the message, help spread the word, that would be amazing. And there's the PayPal option if you'd like to donate, help support the channel. The link is in the description of all of my videos. So what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? Sunday, I just got back from the falls. First time I've ever seen Niagara Falls in my life. It's crazy to think, considering I've lived in Ontario for most of my life. But genuinely, it was the first time I saw Niagara Falls in person. And it was what it was. What's up, bro? What's with that? What the F? I don't get it. What's with the damn, bruh? Oh, I thought you were being super dramatic, like there was a real problem. Yeah, no, I never been to Niagara Falls till now. That's what happens when you give your life to the system, man. You give your life to the system and you miss lots of things. Like, so there was a period of time where my family had money and my family was going to like the Caribbean and swimming with the manta rays and doing all kinds of things that I never got to do, that I missed out on because of my stupid choices and my bad decisions. So that's something you guys all got to think about. Yeah, it was beautiful, man. Niagara Falls was definitely beautiful. It was crazy being on the Strip. It's kind of like Coney Island a little bit. You know what I mean? Bobby's World, what up? What are you saying, man? But I had a good time. I spent some time with my girl's family. And, you know, that's something I had to do. I had a good time, you know? It was nice to see them. Hood Stories with King Rock. What's up, big dog? What are you saying? Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. So what's the topic of conversation today? What do you guys want to talk about? By the way, if you're here, there's 16. Go up, hit the like button, man. It's not hard to do. It helps the channel. It's a free way you can help the channel. Women. Can't live with them, can't live without them. At the end of the day, I'm just done caring about any of that crap. I'm done with it. Hey, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. I spent the day swinging on my porch swing in the backyard, enjoying the beautiful weather. And Curtis, my dog and my husband. I hope you guys are having a good time. I definitely thought it was a beautiful day. I spent a lot of the day driving, not a lot of the day, a couple hours driving. But when am I getting married? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I definitely have the one. Marriage is something like big wedding is something that, you know, we don't necessarily want, but I think that day will come. Shout out to Joanne and her husband. Joanne's been a solid subscriber for a long time, and I appreciate that very much. Lock it down and start the family. Soon come. Soon come, soon come. We just got to get off some medications first, and that's going to happen. Oh, for sure. You already know, Ruck. You're welcome anytime, brother. I don't give my information out to many people, but you're welcome anytime, my brother. You ever come to Ontario, you holler at your boy. Mike Smith, you already know. You show me the story of the criminal that's successful, and I'll tell you that his story isn't over yet. Experience is the best teacher. Thanks, Matt, for sharing your experience, strength, and hope with us, and for always reminding us that we should remove ourselves from this penal system. It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it. Because at the end of the day, they're just suppressing talent. They're just suppressing what you can do, and you're allowing them to do that by putting yourself in the system. You're limiting yourself, and the only person that can keep you away from the system is yourself. Nobody can tell you to change. Nobody can tell you to stop doing drugs. That's something you have to decide to do yourself. For me, it just took a lot longer than for most people, but that's life. I'm hard-headed. I was a knucklehead. Oh, Joanne with the 20-piece. Appreciate that very, very much. And I like doing the content. So I think the next video I'm going to do is probably going to be on Warkworth Penitentiary. It's a penitentiary I haven't spoke on yet. And I think that's probably going to be the next video. And I've now I think learned how to use OBS. The next step is putting a video editing app on here and learning how to use that properly. And then hopefully we can start updating and upgrading the content to some better content where we can look at some things together. We can talk about some things together and just basically expand. Hey, that's amazing. It's great that you had a good sales week. See, with the company that I work for, I can eventually get into sales. I think I'm good at it. I've always been good at selling. And although I never sold drugs because I like them too much. But what happens to women beaters in jail? Honestly, nothing. See, I think back in the day, maybe like the early 90s, the 80s, stuff like that, I think guys cared about that. I think that was considered like a bad beef back then. You probably get punched out for it. If you're just slapping your girl around, you're not going to go to the pen anyways. But to be honest, man, there's a lot of things that aren't considered bad beefs nowadays that guys do that even just 20 years ago would have been considered a crappy charge. So I don't know. You sell e-bikes. There was a point in time where I was looking for an e-bike. Remind us, Matt, how and why you decided to walk away from your old life in jail and institutions. So it's a combination of things, but I definitely just think that I got exhausted. I got tired. I feel like I'm a smart person, so when you have a good mind that still works, it's very hard to just keep giving your time away and sacrificing that, because it's hard to cope with, year after year after year. You go through a time when you do time where you feel like you're comfortable and you belong, and then you kind of go over this mountain where stuff kind of just starts getting old and played out. And that's what happened to me. I got a lot more aggressive. I wanted to fight a lot more, and I just basically didn't feel like I wanted to be there. And then also the fact that my family's getting old. I have a brother that's doing life. I just felt like it was time, and I want to build a future for myself. I want to have a life. I don't want to be 60 years old in and out of jail and struggling, renting a room off somebody. I'd like to try to create some wealth, create a family, and kind of enjoy my life on some level, even if just a minimal level. I try to be driven. I feel like I'm a pretty motivated person. I feel like I have no problem getting up in the morning. I have no problem going to work. I just want more opportunities. I know that I'm impatient, and I know those opportunities will come eventually. You just got to keep trucking. But I definitely am one of those people that wants now. Give me. So there's so many camera nowadays. You can't get away with anything. Toronto hoods are not the same anymore. Clarence, block parties, good vibes. Yeah, and a lot of the guys that are doing what they're doing are locked up, and that's facts. It kind of goes up and down, right? Crime will escalate. There'll be a lot of shootings, a lot of crime, a lot of murders. Then a bunch of guys will get arrested. They'll do a bunch of block rip downs where they tear down blocks, do raids, do organized crime stuff, arrest a bunch of people. And then for a short period of time, it's kind of slows down, and the next generation comes up. It's just kind of the way it goes, It's the system. Paul Harris, what's up, man? Hopefully, I should be doing some interviews soon. I've reached out to some people. I've been talking to a couple people. I'll probably reach out to them tomorrow. Hopefully, soon we get some interviews. I think I have a homie that's coming on that did a bunch of time here and then got deported to South America. And then I think I might be having another female on who did time in South America. I think that'd be dope. I was supposed to get an interview with a guy who was in a Panama prison. He was supposed to come on from the Panama prison, but it was hard to get a hold of him. Stuff happens in that jail. There was a massacre in that prison like a month before, and just never came to happen. And I was pretty disappointed that I was looking forward to that. Paul Harris, man, I appreciate the $13.99 piece. Thank you very much. Everything helps. Next thing I got to buy is a mic. I'll probably buy that in the next week or two. I got to get a good mic. I don't want to get a crappy mic. And I think when I get that, the next thing I'll buy is a GoPro or something so I can at least upgrade a little bit the camera. I got the Logitech webcam, but I want to upgrade. I'd like to get even better than that. And then we can step it up. I'd also like, when this COVID lockdown stop, I'd like to do some interviews with some homeless people and some drug addicts in the city. I'd like to just kind of show around Toronto, just show people what it's like, vlog a little bit. That's what I like to do. I'd like to expand a little bit. If you're in the building and haven't gone up and hit that like button yet, just go up to the top and hit that like button. It's easy to do, and it helps the channel a lot. Of course, and hearing about women's prisons is important. I know that it's not as big of a widespread problem, and there's not as much of a hamster wheel situation. But I've known some females in my life that got in a lot of trouble and were in and out of prison, even though not serious major charges, but they were definitely caught up in the system. And I definitely think that females can also learn, and I definitely think that positive influence for all is important. And I think that men can learn a lot from women, and women can learn a lot from men. So we'll just do the best interviews that come down the conveyor, I guess. And I really only want people that are positive. I guess maybe every once in a while we could bring somebody on who's just kind of actively involved and wants to talk crazy, but we'll see what happens. When you can get out of the street, I think a lot more female strays come through. I definitely think so too. Bro, my cousin got busted bringing drugs back from St. Lucia to Toronto Airport in the 90s and did like 8 to 9 years out there someplace. Yeah, that's crazy, because I had a homie that's like, the most suburban kid, okay? No gangster in him at all, but he saw an opportunity to make money, and he started selling ecstasy like in the late 90s, and he got busted at Pearson Airport with $200,000, and they extradited him to the U.S., and he basically went all over the U.S. on like this ghost trip where they'd send him to like Vermont. Then he'd go to Atlanta. Then they send him down to like Miami. And then when he finally got sentenced, he did it in like some easy peasy jail. And then they extradited him to Canada, or prisoner exchanged him to Canada, and he got out on parole right away. Yeah. I already know. T-Dot, in the 1980s and before, I can only imagine the fraud police committed in interrogation rooms to get someone to admit something. I know guys that have been smashed in the interrogation rooms. I know guys that have been smashed by police. Listen, let me tell you something. If you make them run and there's no cameras, you're getting smashed, period. Most of the girls I know in the lifestyle might not necessarily have gone to jail, but definitely addiction and street life affected them really badly. 100%. And I think it definitely, women definitely don't get locked up as much. Smash that like for Big Matt. You already know, Matt. Shout out to White Boy Lockdown Radio. Keeping it solid for the white boys. No shame in his game. I appreciate that. I think the state system is a lot different, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do, man. And there's no shame in being proud to be white. I think that the culture nowadays, the democratic culture, the liberal culture, the social justice warrior culture is trying to make everybody hate each other, but can't fall for that crap. Can't fall for that crap. If you don't see through that, you blind. My friend was beaten with a billy stick and a phone book to his back until he fake agreed to admitting he was guilty, was later thrown out in court. I've been smashed by cops. Lewis, thank you very much. I just think men and women have different struggles, but it all comes down to addiction and mental health. 100%. Like I said before, the prison population is the most traumatized population. What do you think about the fact that inmates are allowed to possess needles for safe injection in Alberta? I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing. Big step. Yeah, you already know. White Boy Lockdown Radio. You holler at me anytime, brother. Anytime, I'm down. Mario Williams, you already know. Big ups. I just think that we live in a time right now where they're trying to use race and racism to divide, and they act as though it's not racism, that it is wokeness, but it's exactly the opposite of that, and it's crazy. All the critical race theory, the indoctrinations, all that stuff, if people don't see that for what it is, then I feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? You can't talk about it a lot because YouTube will shadow ban you and do all kinds of crap because of that. But at the end of the day, if you don't know what's going on, if you still watch that media down there or up here and believe it, remember, our media is government controlled, government run. None of it's fact. As addiction is a multi-billion-dollar a year business, how do you think we can help those with addiction and withering away in jail instead of a treatment center? I don't really get the question. As addiction is a multi-billion-dollar a year business, how do you think we can help those with addiction and withering away in jail instead of a treatment center? Oh, I don't know, man. I think that at the end of the day, people got to help themselves. I don't think you can really help anybody if they're not ready for it. There should be treatment centers, programs, therapy, counseling, CBT, a lot of different opportunities. Decriminalize or legalize drugs. Anybody who doesn't believe that CRT is racism is crazy. Media is a lame attempt at mind control. It's not that lame, brother. Just because it doesn't control you, believe me, there's a lot of people that it controls. There's business in recidivism, and what's a bad idea, Tony? Decriminalizing or legalizing drugs. So let me tell you, in Switzerland, they thought that. And Switzerland is a very conservative place. So they started providing legal heroin for any citizen. You can get twice a day, as much as possible, free of charge, clean heroin under medical supervision. And they thought that this was going to create an excess of addicts, except the community rallied behind, and they started uplifting these people, making these people believe that there was a chance for them and that they could do better. And guess what happened? The program dwindled down, and was a total success. Look in Portugal, where all drugs are decriminalized. Total success. Rehabilitation is a lot more accessible, and there's just a lot more success cases. Matt, would you take a COVID shot? It depends, man. I'm not opposed to it. I don't think that. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Like I said, I believe that COVID is real. I know a lot of people that have got it. I know some people that have died from it. I believe that I've been hard on my body. We'll see, though. We'll see what happens. I think there might be a point in time you won't be able to move. Tony B, cut it out. If you think the answer is locking people in prison, then you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? I'm somebody that's been in prison for years and seen prison locked up for years for using drugs. If you think people should be in prison for using drugs, then you're a fucking goof. Straight up. Anybody who believes that is a fucking piece of shit goof. People have problems. People go through shit. People have traumas, man. That ain't fair, brother. You have no idea what you're talking about. Have you been addicted to drugs? Have you went through extreme trauma in your life? Or are you just talking from the shadows? I lost my brother to double murder charges. He was the murderer. I was sexually abused and lost my innocence as a young person. You're going to tell me that I should be in jail for using drugs, for trying to cover that shit up? You're the one who has no idea what you're talking about. If you decriminalize drugs or legalize drugs and make people believe that you give a shit, then you're going to have more success than warehousing people and doing nothing. You create animosity and you create anger. Anyways, Tony B, you're a fucking loser. Let me block this bitch. I don't like people like you, buddy. You're a bad person. You know what? Like, I don't understand people that think a drug user should be in prison. I don't get that, man. It's clearly a privileged human being who hasn't been through anything in his life. You know, you can get up on here and preach about how people who use drugs should be in jail. You clearly have no idea what you're talking about. I know plenty of people that have been in prison that should have never been there for simply using drugs or carrying and possessing drugs, and their whole life was affected. And guess what that does? That creates more animosity and more problems and more crime and more violence. You got to take a proactive approach, man. You alienate people. What do you think you're going to get? Animals. I'd love to see that motherfucker. I hate people like that. I hate people like that. I ever see a guard do something I respect 100%. Listen, I don't talk to feds or roll with feds, but to say they never do anything that should be respected. Listen, I had a parole officer when I was in Fembrook who was a fed who chased me across the yard one day for dope and charged me for possession of tobacco, gave me misconducts and stuff. And they ended up putting her for 3 or 4 months as a parole officer. And this lady didn't hold any of that against me, went to bat, told the parole board that she believed that I was serious about changing, and I got out. She didn't have to do that. Now, do I think that most guards are like that? No. But I do think that there's a lot of guards that come in, they just do their job. They don't have a problem with you. It's just their job. And as long as that's who they are, I have no problem with them as a person. I don't want to talk to you or hang out with you, but I don't hate you. Why would I hate you? I understand that there's two sides of this game, and it's a game that we play. It's cops and robbers. We've been playing since we were kids. We chose a side. We chose a side. I just think people are fucking retarded, man. I really do. I think that people are so blind to what's really going on in this world, man. And it's sad to me. It's sad to me. For somebody to come on here and say that people that are addicted to drugs should be in prison, that person should be ashamed of himself. Should be ashamed of himself. These problems weren't created by us. I didn't bring the fucking drugs into the country. I didn't traumatize myself. I don't know, man. Of course I knew guards that were corrupt. I did fucking almost 20 years in prison. 1 out of 5 guards are corrupt. That's being generous. They're all corrupt on some level. There's some that they're not going to beat you up. They're not going to steal your drugs. They're not going to sleep with a female inmate or whatever it is. There's some that are like that, but they still turn the blind eye to violence, inmates being abused, killed. They're still corrupt. They're all fucking corrupt. But there is a small percentage of them that do the right thing every once in a while. And I'm not here to hate on nobody. I don't give a fuck. I was a criminal. They were the guards. We played our position. Yeah, there's nurses, there's electricians, there's teachers, there's pastors, there are therapists and psychologists. There's so many different, there's people that come in and do yoga. There's all kinds of different things. Yeah, at the end of the day, maybe every now and then there's a guard that will step up and say what this officer did was wrong. But how many will do that? Even if they're not the one beating you, how many will do that? I met my beautiful girlfriend in treatment, to be honest. I just think that if you're a human being and you've been alive in 2020 and 2021 and you don't see what's going on, it hasn't opened your eyes to a lot of things, then you're blind. Even if you were blind before that, I'll give you the pass on that. But if what's going on right now doesn't show you what's really good in this world, man, you're retarded. Sorry. Slow. They think addicts enjoy the lifestyle. But what? How could you genuinely believe that anybody enjoys picking their scabs, being on the street homeless and hungry, talking to themselves? Like, how could you possibly think that somebody would enjoy that? Like, whether you feel like you enjoy it in the moment or not because you're getting high, you are not enjoying it. That is not joy. I just think a lot of people never felt real joy because of all the trauma they've been through. I was listening to something about Young E. Nace. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a rapper from Jacksonville. And he said he never had been happy in his life. And I think there's a lot of people that are like that. There's no happiness in their life. They experience abuse from when they're kids. They see addiction from when they're kids. They see gang problems from when they're kids, or violence or murder, or whatever it is that they see. And they go through this system that just tears you down and tells you how horrible you are, how worthless you are. How does that person ever see any joy? How can they really distinguish joy? And I think that's why a lot of people, when they have a baby, they experience that joy. But I just think there's a lot of people that don't really know what joy is. And no one wants to be in that lifestyle. I don't care what they tell you. I don't care how much fun they look like they're having. Deep down inside, they are broken, or they wouldn't be doing it. What personality difference do you see between CX1s and CX2s? I think CX1s a lot of the time are a lot more, like, they're a lot more respectable. Like, they'll respect you a lot more because they're a lot more nervous. But every now and then you get a CX1 who just thinks he's on one and wants to come in and show everybody he's tough. Like I said in a video in the past, there was a riot on my range in Joyceville in 2012, and it was this guard named Haley. And I don't give a shit if he watches this video, anybody sees it. C.O. Haley from Joyceville, you're a straight goof. And if I ever, you are a goof. You are a goof. You are a bad human being, a terrible person. What you need to do is go to hell. He created a whole riot because his pride was hurt, because guys didn't want to lock up 20, 30 minutes before they were supposed to, and they told him no. And because of that, the next day, he came in, created a riot that burned down the whole side of the jail, basically, slowed everything down. This small dick having, insecure pussy. That's all he was. I appreciate that, J. Nick. Sorry, I'm a little bit, that person got me a little bit heated, so, you know. I saw a subscriber on the weekend when I was in Niagara Falls. He walked up to me on the corner and shook my hand. I appreciated that. He ain't getting to me. It's not that he's really getting to me, because nobody can really get to me, you know. It's just that it makes me sad, you know, to see that there's people that are still so stupid. Still so stupid. They don't realize what's really going on. Where are all these drugs coming from? Where are they coming from? Like, you getting them by yourself? You manufacturing them in your bathtub? Where are they coming from? Man, I always wondered. What does that even mean? The guys in prison, most guys in prison have a girl. There is definitely a type of girl that wants the convict dude. There's a site. It's called Canadian Inmates Connect. Check it out. So if you're in prison, you can post your name and your information and stuff, to what jail you're in, what kind of charges you're on, and then you can put it up on that site, and then people can contact you. There's a lot of men that I guess want that kind of a dude. And, you know, I was in relationships in the past that were just horrible. So clearly it didn't work. Clearly it took me coming out of that lifestyle to find the amazing woman that I found, somebody who changed my life for the better, and is somebody that eventually I'll put a ring on. You got to go to one of my old videos, Lloyd Daly, and donate to PayPal. If you go into the description of my videos, there's a link. My wife and I are both recovering addicts, have been for years, and her mom still doesn't care to really know. Yeah. Like, it's crazy, right? There was a long point in time in my life where my parents thought that, you know, when I was younger, my parents were quite strict, didn't understand very much, and were actually kind of mean to me, you know, like they were going through a lot, and I didn't see it because I was young. So I just thought that I was being basically like disowned, and that made me resent. But I just think that it takes time, it takes education, and somebody needs to inform them, you know, like my family over the years educated themselves on addiction, what addiction was like. My family clearly knows about the system because me and my brother were caught up in it so long. So they saw how shady the system can be at some times. And, you know, what do I think of the keepers? It depends. It really depends. I think that a lot of the time keepers try to flex. I remember one time a guard had died, and I was in Fembrook, and they locked us down. We were locked down for like 24 hours or something like that because a guard had died outside, like he had had a heart attack or something like that. outside of the prison, and the whole prison was locked down because of it. So I was upset about it, and I was an ignorant convict. So when the guards were doing their walk, I told them, I don't care about your dead officer friend. Let us out of our cells. It didn't happen here. We don't care, right? You know, that didn't go over well. The next morning, I was dragged into the back office. There's a bunch of keepers there literally threatening to bury me into the system, send me to max, ruin my whole bit, put me in seg indefinitely. Like crazy, man. Like trying to intimidate me. Seriously. I thought it was hilarious. Just laugh in their face. I don't care about no feds. Come on now. It's the same thing, John. Doesn't matter if you're caught on alcohol or drugs. It's pretty much the same thing. I know what they locked us down for, but I was an ignorant con and I didn't care. At the end of the day, you know, you get into a certain frame of mind when you're in prison if you're actually a convict. So there's always like a tension between the feds, you know. So I don't, you know, when I'm in that frame of mind, I don't care that they're going through something, they're grieving, losing their friends. I'm being selfish because I'm in that situation. But you know, I don't necessarily feel that way now. Temporal engineer, where you get that game at? I didn't see what Andrea said. Hold on. Where is it? I don't see it. I don't see it. Sorry. I'm going to start up the membership soon on the channel, guys. I didn't want to do it because I wanted to have like special emojis, but I'm not tech savvy. Sorry. I respect a guy that does his job as long as when he does his job, he doesn't put his hands on me or treat me like I'm some kind of a piece of shit. Like, I understand that's a game. You know what I mean? So if you catch me, good job. Put your hands on me. But I would also never be one of those dudes who just lets somebody ever put their hands on me. You know, I don't care if it's a Fed or not. I'm firing off. Bro, it's white, blue, leaf blue, maple leaf blue. But white and blue, black, I guess. It's not really a color. Either is white. I just like different blues, I guess. I don't know, man. Surprise me, brother. What's $8 Canadian right now? Temporal engineering. And if you're in the building, go up and hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. It really helps the channel. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much. I'm on here for like 2 more minutes, guys. How long you been out on Wednesday? Oh, on warrant expiry. I've been out on warrant expiry since January 2020. I'm getting there, man. Anyways, you guys already know. I appreciate you guys stopping in for the live. Lloyd, I told you if you want to donate, you can go to any old videos and click the link in the description. And there should be a PayPal link there. And if it's not, it just means I forgot that one because I forget things because I'm a pothead. Just go back to an old one and we be good. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming and hit me up in the live. Before you get out of here, hit that like button. Love each and every one of you at the new Matt Clark. Have a good night, everybody. Y'all the best.